Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first instalment of Kings of War Conversion Corner. Now you may know that I recently acquired a Kings of War Goblin army, and in Kings of War there's no particular imperative to have the correct amount of models in a unit for it to fulfill its purpose on the battlefield. So, with some of the spare models, if you will, there's room for some conversions to make some little characters, like this Goblin Whiz that I've made here. So, what have I done to it? First of all, cork basing, because that's how all the pros do it, didn't you know? Got some mushroom on the base there. Now, I believe these are from an old GW Goblin kit of some description. They were just lying around in the bits box, as most of these bits that I've added were. So I thought, well, how could I make a wizard out of this? First things first, a cloak. So, how I've done that is, I've taken a little cloak from the Kings of War skeleton sprue, and because this model is resin plastic and the cloak is hard plastic, in fact I think just about all the pieces I've added are hard plastic, I didn't want just such a tiny super glue only bond, so what I did, if you look underneath, there is a wad of green stuff there, which is surrounding a little pin that I put in there for it to just rest on top of, to give it a bit more support, so hopefully it shouldn't fall off. So I think that looks quite good in the wind. I've tried to get it at kind of the right angle with the beasts, so it's consistent. Also, his head is from that same sprue, the Kings of War skeleton sprue. He kind of has a bit of a death vibe because of that, and on that theme, his weapon, which is a scythe. Now from the colour of it, it can only be from an old GW skeleton warrior kit, really old one, and to hold this in place there's a pin going through the wrist into his arm. So I think that looks quite tasty. And now, what's this thing, you may ask? Hopefully you can tell that that's supposed to be a book, but it's actually some kind of ammo belt. I believe it's from perhaps a GW Imperial Guard. So I just cut the bullets off the back, put a bit of green stuff over it to smooth it down, because it's at the correct angle to look like an open book. And these particular models, this Goblin Cavalry, the way they're holding their shields, generally, this one doesn't have a shield, but the body position leaves itself open to having anything really being held in that spot there. So I've made it into a book, which is going to be his spellbook. I'll do some scrawlings on that to look like his magic spells that he's reading off, even though he doesn't have any eyes, technically. Now, to differentiate the actual beast from all the others, I haven't seen the need to do too much of converting on it, because I haven't really done anything to it, because it's already very detailed. There's a lot going on it with the packs and the various knives. So what I'm probably going to do is just paint it differently, perhaps with glowing eyes compared to the rest of them, so it'll still stand out. Maybe a different colour tongue, maybe a really bizarre rainbow tongue or something like that, just to drive the point home that this is clearly a wizard. So, I hope you've enjoyed our first trip into the Kings of War Conversion Corner. I'm working on a couple of other things as well from the Goblin Army box, which I'll bring you at a later date. So if you'd like to ask me anything about this particular conversion, feel free. I'm pretty sure I covered anything, but you never know. So, I'll catch you next time. Ta-ta for now.